So we are back, and we got our interview of the evening going on here. And once again, we're over here at the Sound Studios, over here in the lovely area of West End of Parkdale. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And we got some guests in the house here. You know what I mean? First of all, we like to do a lot of the rapper interviews all the time, you know what I'm saying? And it's dope. So we made sure that we brought a rapper in the building. So big shouts to Project Bvby in the building with us, you know what I'm saying? But what I like to do as well is get behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? And we've had it. I did, like on 6 Views, we did interviews with Sony Visual. Like your whole
they moved right from Russia to Parkdale.
Okay.
And just pretty much whole life. Well, not pretty much. Just, of course, the whole life lived here.
Yeah.
So
like, tell me as a youngin in Parkdale, what was life like? And we talked about like him like filming and doing all of the filming for all of the different rappers and stuff in the city, right? And you know, I've spoken to models and different things like that. A lot of behind the scenes people. But we've never
to models.
Hey,
Friday, don't kill me.
Where's my sound effect? Well, yeah, one type of people we haven't spoken to is engineers. Okay, so once again, we're over here at the Sound Studios, and what should I call you? Should I just call you Jay? You know what I'm saying?
That works.
Right? Okay, so
it's not Jay the engineer, just Jay.
Yeah.
It's Jay. Some people call me suspect.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, they call you Jay or they call you suspect, right?
Yeah. Well, suspect is the sound.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, because I remember off camera we were speaking like a couple weeks ago. You have a sound system as well.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So with this whole behind the scenes thing, right? You're an engineer. You have your own sound. Which one came first, the sound or the or engineering people?
The sound definitely came first. The DJ side was where it all started.
Okay. So explain how you started the sound and like who's in. Is it just you or is it like a collaborative of DJs and stuff?
Well, okay. So it's a foundation sound, right?
Okay.
Been around for a long time. It wasn't me that started it originally. It was my best friend, and he started it when we were like young, right? Sometimes we were like teenagers, right? And unfortunately, he passed when we were 20, and respect. And I carried the sound and his legacy with it.
Okay.
Suspect sound, that's what it's called?
That's the sound name, yeah.
Yeah. So like even with that, like, where did you guys do a lot of your playing your tunes and stuff, or like doing parties? I mean, like in the city or like out of town, like.
Well, you know what? With sound is a little different than DJ. If you know, then you know. You know, we're not always in clubs, maybe in like halls or different types of venues inside in the city, outside of the city, like alongside it, some really big sounds.
Yeah.
But it was never just limited to that. Even though the name is the Sound Studio, it's really like a media studio, a photo studio, a logo studio. It's a creative studio.
Okay.
Creative hub.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I want to stay on the sound system for a second because we spoke with a few months ago. We spoke with on Black's Thunder Place.
As it is now.
Okay.
With everything, DJs, rappers, reggae artists, like. Everybody and their grandmother is doing something, and it wasn't really like that before.
Okay. And we were talking about
the place.
Yeah. Remember we were having the conversation about people, the clashes and like just some of the drama.
And stuff like that,
okay.
Yeah.
So, what's some of the biggest clashes that you guys have had at Suspect Sound?
Oh, what sound have I clashed?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say it like this. Like, the way how I told you I carried the sound, right? It was always about respect.
Okay.
So I didn't have a lot of sounds come and disrespect that. You know? And it was really my brother's sound.
Yeah.
And I carry it for him. And nobody's going to come up and try to take away from that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, bigger than sound.
Okay, so it wasn't because of the legacy that of the way the sound was. it was more like, okay, we're not gonna come with a clash, or you know, Hitman's up like, yo, let's clash and shit like that.
Well, I'm also the sound that ran the studio. So if you're a sound man to go clash the studio sound, I mean,
It's not a smart move.
you know what I'm saying? You could go and do that if you want.
So you've always been into the studio, like to the engineering, the back end aspect of it from time then. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much.
So you simultaneously, you got the sound system going, or like you took over the sound system, and then you got the studio running at the same time.
Well, even them times like when we were young, he was building studios in his house in the corner,
Okay.
right? Like it was like, it kind of always came with it.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to voice those plates.
Okay.
And you know?
Okay. What was your first studio like when you went on your own?
When I went on my own,
Yeah, like when you started your own studio,
like after he passed,
yeah.
shoot, it was like everybody else's. You know what I mean? Like a foamed out closet, you know? And I put a glass door on it. So it was a little bit better.
Okay.
But you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So how long now you been doing this?
Oh, it's been a long time.
10,
Plus?
15 years?
10 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay doesn't want to age himself.
Hey, it doesn't matter, man. We're all getting older. We ain't getting no younger, man. So don't run from it. Embrace it.
Hey, bro.
Appreciate it.
It's timeless.
Appreciate it, brother.
Trust
It's
me.
timeless.
You know what? I want to pass the questions around because, you know, we got a young buck in the building right here, okay? And quick fast, turn that mic around here, quick fast to you right here.
Project
sir.
Bvby.
I've been grinding and staying up late nights. Now this shit started to get to me. When you swim with the gray whites, them niggas ain't showing no sympathy. Gotta make it on my own now, cause these niggas ain't wanna get rid of me.
Project Bvby, right? Because we're talking to an engineer who's has a lot of experience in the game, right? Now, for you as an up and coming rapper, what's your first engineering, like? What's your first experience like dealing with studios? Are you doing it from the yard, or like you're pulling up in a studio?
At first, like my mom worked at like a native child center, and they had a studio in it. So like from summertime last year, I was just crushing bare studio time, getting free studio hours.
Okay.
You know, from there, and then you know one of the engineers in there is actually from the hood, so like I knew him. You know, so that's how we started, and then now, you know, I'm kind of moving on up. So like I pay for my studio time now. I go to better studios. You know, so like
Learning the ropes.
Yeah, dope. And like, what was your like? Even when you start getting into like studios, like more high end, like how we're in the studio, like in in the sound studios right now, right?
Yeah.
We're able to smoke and all that. Are you getting that same experience in them studios?
Yeah. When I go to the studio, I have like 2-3 blunts rolled. You know, in the studio there's like a recording booth and there's like a little ashtray. You know, you put a blunt down.
Yeah.
You know, it's sick. Like there's a vibe all the time. But like that's just the one studio I just started going there. Before it was catch up. We had to go smoke outside in the cold.
Yeah.
You know, plug out.
Yeah.
It's blessed now though.
And just to pass that around, right, to you, Jay, because we're smoking in the studio.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm bringing that mic over, sorry, keeping me all switching around.
No, it's good.
But we're here in the studio and we're able to smoke.
Okay.
And you're good with that. But there's so many studios, like how Project Bvby, like, you know, he's been in studios where he has to catch up outside. You know, as a retired rapper, I've been in the same situations, right?
Of course.
So, why do you let it happen? Is it more of just the comfort?
You know that it has to happen because like this is not my first studio.
Yeah.
Right? And I've had studios in buildings that I wasn't able to do that, and I just watched like the creativity is not the same. You know, it's part of the process. And to make people go outside in Canada, have you been outside?
Shit on a day like today.
Exactly. Right?
Yo, today was one of the worst snowstorms we had all year. 20 centimeters of snow, they're saying.
If that's not gonna ruin your vibe, that's gotta ruin your vibe.
Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
you're right.
definitely gonna make me think twice of wanting to go to the studio and record if I have to go stand outside and smoke my weed outside.
You want to go to another one.
That's what I'm saying. It made me think twice about, you know what? Maybe this studio isn't the one for me because I gotta go outside and smoke. I can't be in the booth recording and be like, yeah, blunt in my mouth.
Yeah.
Dude, if you're an engineer, cut that, punch that. You know what I mean?
Plus, it's more acceptable than ever. I mean, let's be Let's be honest.
It is
We're in
legal
Canada.
now.
Right.
Yeah.
It is legal now, thanks to the government. It's legal now.
Yeah, man.
The new prohibition.
What's some of the craziest? What's one of the biggest struggles you've ever had to deal with engineering artists?
Oh, that depends on your definition of artist. I mean, I've recorded people who feel like they're artists, and I might not completely see their vision.
Right.
Right. That's sometimes a struggle. That
Okay.
disconnect, because it's like if I don't feel it, I mean, I'm still human, right?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Right.
One of my favorite things, what they say in recording, this is like an old one, and I learned it from like a Grammy winner, right? He said, "You can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in gold, right? But it's not the same, because you can't polish a turd. So whatever goes in, or I say, you can't polish a doo-doo, right? Because
Yeah.
like, what's a turd, right? But whatever goes in is that has to be the best."
Yeah.
And that's my whole policy here. It's like when I build studio, I do so that I create the vibe in the artist before it goes in the mic.
Okay. Yeah. So, and even with you, Project Baby, like you're in the booth. What are you knocking it out? You're doing one takes, and I feel like I've asked you this off camera before, but like
No, when I go to the studio, it's like whatever, like when I go to the studio, first of all, it's short sessions. If I go and do a song, I'll do it half an hour, 45 minutes, depending on my engineer, what studio I go to.
Yeah.
If my engineer can communicate with me and like, I say, oh, do that, because I don't sit there, I don't let the engineer take over my track, you know? I let them know, oh, I want you to stop here, you know, cut here, you know,
Yeah.
and then I'll punch in where I have to punch in. But other than that, I'll just one take it. Because
okay.
before I go to the studio, I memorize what I need to, you know, right? 'Cause I'm going over it over and over. So just
Yeah.
go in there with on my phone, my blood, just, you know, close my eyes. Just do what I
So
gotta
when you
do.
select a beat, what's your beat selection like?
It's like, I like to have old school mixed with a little bit of, you know, saucy new school, you know what I'm saying? So that I like Gunna beats, and then I'll throw it back, and then I'll go look for Dave East beats, and switch it up and hit a T Grizzly beat,
Okay.
you know, some beats with the air, and then maybe I'll go hit like a soft, you know, mellow beat. You know, I can have a shorty on it, you know, for sure he knows how to sing, come correct. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But other than that, the beats is Gunna basically, like I like that flow, you know, with those sauce, you know. I
Okay.
can adapt to it.
Okay. And even
It's
with
a big thing, not a hand thing.
that's from that tune from Time when we heard that we're like whoa 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 what go on.
I trust in that bitch, and she left me straight hurting. So I'ma just flex on her shit. Got a new man nervous, cause he can't just flex like the kid. Yeah, I do that shit on purpose.
Yeah, this guy shocked me. So I'm like, what? This guy could actually rap. He's
Yeah.
good. He's pretty good.
That's why I was like, you know what? Today I'm gonna to even though like you're still coming up and you don't have like a bunch of videos out there and stuff like that. I was like, I still want to get the perspective of artists who are just coming in the game right now, and I figure
And it's also doesn't hurt that it's the fam.
yeah and. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna fucking be like, oh shit, you know, I don't know this guy. I just met him right now. No, fuck. I've been around, been around Project Baby from time. You know what I'm saying? I almost called out his Bvby for a second.
You got yourself, though. You got yourself.
But okay, just
was
to jump
definitely a
off of
skirt.
from what Baby is saying, right? I'm gonna just cut it down to Baby, okay, for a second. You know what I'm saying? What about when do you know when to step in for an artist? Okay, because Project Baby's in there and he's just one taking it, two taking it at the most. He knows what he wants to do. He's already prepared. What about for the guys who aren't, or they're more prepared? They're more maybe a little bit more free, and they're like taking a lot of takes. When do you step in, or do you step in at all?
Like, I'll make suggestions, right? And I'll make them a couple times.
Okay.
But if they're not being well received, then I won't overstep. Because it's all about not taking them away from what they already like, the level they're on.
What they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even we were also speaking about dub plates and stuff like that, right? So you record dub plates in the studio.
We've had some big artists, yeah.
So give me some of these artists that have been doing dub plates in the studio.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Throughout the past, I mean, we rest in peace, we had Frankie Paul in the studio,
All right,
which is a big name. We had
I have Frankie Paul songs at my house, some 45s.
yeah. Oh, I have him on dub
Yeah.
with the doubles. He actually
With
built
the
the
doubles.
rhythm right in the studio.
But these ones I have are some nice, 45s.
Of course.
Can't get nothing like a 45. Like the dub is nice,
Authentic.
but
See,
the
me being young, I
45s.
have no clue what you guys are talking
Rock.
about.
We're talking about records. We're talking about records, my
Take
friend. We're
this
talking
in.
about records.
Talking about dubs and taking 20
My sound.
Guys in, you know.
My sound is Foundation. It has dub plates on 45.
That's blessed.
Nice.
Okay, so-
That's an accomplishment right there in itself.
I want more from this list. Before you continue the list, just because. And I know
Records.
the same question that you're asking. There's
whole
people
audience.
in our audience who are like, "What the fuck's a 45?" Right?
Whatever Bernard is they talking about.
The 4/5 mans are talking about.
Freaking $20 bills. I don't even
Right?
know. I'm trying
So-
to get involved. What's going on?
No,
What
no.
involved?
And I'm gonna break the fourth. What is it? The fourth wall or whatever.
Yeah.
For a quick second now, people in the comment gang,
Stop things.
a 45 is what a vinyl is. So a vinyl is what
record.
a record where we used to play our shit on Spotify and fucking iTunes
Before
and all
the
that
CDs
shit, and
you know,
before
regular-
CDs,
the small records.
right? And the hole in the middle of the record is a little bit bigger, so you have to have a special spoke
Spacer.
so that you can put it onto your record player of
Yeah.
what we used to play records with a needle. Pre-Serato.
Yeah, but yeah. So
Okay.
45, the dubs and all of that. Yeah, it's records.
Yeah, that's what a 45
I'm
is.
talking
though.
about
It's a
machine.
Lico records. You ever see them Lico records?
Don't worry, I'll show you one. I'll show you. Don't
Never
worry.
seen
When we're
no
back in the
one.
building, I'll show you. I'll let you see what 45s look like.
All right. So now the list.
And we're not talking guns. We're talking records.
So, Jay, give me a list of some other people that you've done some dubs for.
Forgotten the dubs.
Oh, dubs going way back. Like, see, you're putting a lot of emphasis on the sound, right? And although that's the foundation and the birthplace of the studio,
Not just the sound, just people who were pulling up in town and they're like, "Yo, I need to get a dub plate done," and they pull up to your studio.
okay. Like we've had like Merciless, Boom Dynamite.
Okay.
We've had shoot, like I said, Lexus the Prince,
Okay.
and I mean we're talking about this is older artists, right? But on dub, I have artists that obviously never made it to the studio. Not everybody we can get in there,
Right.
you know. And like, there's a lot of names that I don't even really like saying names. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yo, that's dope though.
You
That's
can't
dope.
take back nothing you don't say.
Yeah. What do you rather record? Hip hop or reggae? What's easier?
What's easier?
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard question. It depends what type of hip hop, like and what type of artist. I couldn't really say one or the other because there's reggae artists who come in and they're so prepared. Like shout out to like Trinity Chris.
In a dead trap, when the lid pop it drop like bread back. Another dead that. Congo worm fed that. Hey, so to speak, me no left it out we upload the stream.
Like when
Oh, big man like Trinity Chris.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Bun a tight pants and a square front shoe.
no, but I'm saying like he was here last week and it couldn't be easier than that because that artist is so well tuned. Like when he
Oh
goes
yeah,
in
for
there,
sure. That's a machine.
so then
that's a well-oiled
yeah,
machine.
I would say that's the easiest.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So even with hip hop artists now, right? How do you do? And I'm gonna have a question for you, Project Baby, based off of this one right here, right? The auto tune stuff, right?
Okay.
Because you've been around the game for a while, so you've seen rappers convert from doing bars
Yeah.
to like, yo, saw something my shit, da 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 da.
Right.
Yeah, he sees the cycles of the music.
Yeah.
Right.
So what was that like? What was your feelings on that when that happened?
Well, I just stay with it. You know what I mean? I try to stay with it because, to be honest with you, some artists can really do it. And you know, there's
That's
not.
true. Some can, others can't.
When I hear like some old foot talking about how it's not real and it's not this and it's not that, and then it seems to me they're the ones who are like disrespectful and unwilling to like adapt because
Yeah.
when you really look at it, it's like it's an art form of its own. If it's art, you should respect it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stop comparing it and trying to like, oh, Tupac versus Lil
Oh, yeah.
Uzi. Like that
Obviously, yeah,
shit
you
is
can't- you
like
can't do
stop
that.
that shit. You know what I mean? Because Because when they do find someone who's comparable, you're not gonna like them either.
Yeah.
Did you think? Okay, seeing like the music cycles of hip hop, right? Did you think you could predict that cycle of the auto tuning coming in so heavy?
Well, I mean, like we're still talking about something a long time ago, because like auto tune has been used forever.
No, I know that, but I'm saying the way it's being used now in this modern era, not versus how they used to use it. Just like, you know, not to sauce up the whole track.
If I could have predicted, I don't want to like. I just knew that nothing was gonna stop it.
Okay.
Like, but maybe by then everybody knew that. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. And you, Project Baby, you do a mix of two, because I've been listening to your tunes from time, right? So I hear that you use auto-tune sometimes, but then you rap,
Yeah.
right? What made you want to do that? Like, who are some of your influences?
Nah, it's cause, you know, I don't want to ever be considered as somebody that was just a mumble rapper, you know what I'm saying? So I have to show people, I have to showcase, you know what I'm saying? Alright, he could fit in with the new, you know what I'm saying, the new wave, but you could tell he listens to Mobb Deep and he has the Tupac, you know what I'm saying, with the snapping and, you know, I have to show that, because that's what real rap is about, you know, like,
Okay.
I don't support the just rapping to just rap, you know.
So you're paying respect and homage to the greats. All right, I can respect that.
Yeah, so
I can definitely respect that.
and then and that's, to me, is everybody. I want to get into the minds of the
Your generation?
Your generation.
So Friday would love to crack that code.
I know the crack.
No,
Trust
it's
me,
not.
it
I got
is.
that code cracked. It's just there's so many layers.
Got it, but then you don't.
Yeah, there's
I was
like
trying to show you. That's when you think he got something.
yeah.
Boom, there's another layer to it.
Right, because you're saying you're listening to the mob, you're listening to all this stuff, right? So are a lot of other people in your peers doing the same, or is it just
Yeah.
all saucy shit?
My man, them, yo, you put on a whole list of Mobb Deep, you know, Biggie Smalls, what? You just, it's all about who you grow up
You have
around,
to understand,
you know?
these are
Like,
our kids,
You know
eh?
what I'm saying? Look who
These are our
around.
generation's kids, eh? This is
See
the
what
kids
I'm
that
saying?
growing up, listen to what we were listening to growing up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now they're creating their own wave and their own sound. But basically, they all grew up listening to what we were listening to.
Okay.
You
It's
understand what
hard
I'm
to
saying?
us, you know, that's hard to us, you know?
Yeah.
You can, like, just watch Juice, you know, Tupac, you know, like, it's just sick, like, you know, you just want to be like them.
So wait a minute. You're saying
This Friday's
because it makes a lot of sense. You're saying it's not that you guys went searching on the internet and found this stuff. You just heard what your parents were listening to, and that's what you
We
heard in the
a
crib when you were a
little
kid.
glimpse, because we weren't allowed to listen to the whole thing.
Okay.
And then we said, yeah, bet. Let me go listen to it on that Adobe. You know? Me, like, one of my uncles, you know, he gave me an iPod shuffle and left a whole bunch of tunes my mom would have beat me if she heard I had those on my iPod. Dancing with the Devil, all of them. I was 9 years old at my grandma's house listening to that. Saying all the lyrics, you know? So I just been around the good, you know, the good music. So I feel like with my music,
true though.
my music has to be good now.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, no, the music is good. I'm impressed. I'm definitely impressed by the music.
No, man,
He's a
that's
talented kid though, or a
that's
young
dope,
man,
man.
I should say.
I like to see the influences and stuff like that, and even you, Jay, with like the amount of like young rappers that you're engineering and stuff like that. Do you try to like throw like some jewels at them, some advice like while they're doing the recordings and stuff like that?
Well, like
Bring that
now,
mic over there.
now we're in a generation that fortunately, like just like he said, they came up and their parents were listening to, like, what would you say, real hip hop or
Yeah.
whatever. So a lot of them are already influenced by it
Yeah.
in one way, like indirectly. Like the artist we spoke of, that young artist that we spoke of, like his pops put him onto all that before I ever had an opportunity to.
So you don't even have to be in the studio like, yo, you know you should hear this or da-da-da. Man, them already know.
Sometimes they'd show me.
Ah, see, that's the words out of my mouth.
I like that. I fucking like that. Yeah. So even with the rap stuff now, like, who are some of the rappers that are popping up in this spot? Like, cause like this is, a lot of us didn't know that this spot was here, bro.
No, we're a secret
Yeah,
for now.
yeah.
Like we're in the cut, but it's just because we're launching right now.
Mm-hmm.
And surprisingly enough, it's already like booking up. So
Yeah.
It's a nice location. It's definitely in the cut.
Yeah.
Definitely in the cut.
Well, we bumped into We Love Hip Hop alumni in here, H.H. Chase. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, so there's a rapper who you see around here.
Who's
Yeah.
that? Louis Lover.
Louis Lover. He was our #1 track in Toronto last week.
More fire.
Can I get a more fire? Hey. So #1. H.H. Chase. Louis Lover.
Louis Lover.
It's just you and me. You know what this is, oh baby.
True indeed.
Yeah.
Top
So,
6.
There's been some
yeah.
big artists through here lately, actually.
yeah, so spill some tea on us, bro.
See, like that's the thing
The man,
about
see,
saying.
the man don't like to drop names. The man don't tell you for listen to what the man said already. The man's not listening. The man don't tell the man, so you don't want to drop the names.
There's
Eh?
only like 2-3 people who
I'm not a
listen to the
name
show.
dropper. Eh? The man say, yo, I'm not a name dropper.
No, but definitely some talent coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I already told him that I seen him the other day, and I was with Nescadam, and that's one young artist that I see a lot of potential in for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, he's sick.
Yeah, he held me up, but timing. Sometimes timing is awkward. That was on me though, not on them. That was on me.
Oh well, he's got bars.
No, I want to take it in, because listen to me. That Metro over there. It's not the first time I had a kid say, "Yo, from the block, eh? Yo, taking the tunes, like taking the tunes." But my thing is, I don't comment. I don't be like, yeah. I take it in.
No, he's not pushing like.
No, I'm not saying he's pushing. I'm not
Yeah.
saying anybody's pushing, but I'm just saying I genuinely take in the music. When people ask me to take it in music, I take it in.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, or not telling you anything, but I'm asking.
No.
I'm asking you to take it in. So
I'll
it's
take
like,
it in. Well,
yeah.
before I leave, you'll let me hear something.
Of course, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's. What about American acts? You got American acts that pop up?
Yeah, of course, right? But I don't even really want to leave the Canadian acts because the talent is here.
So what is the focus of the sound studio right now? What is your major focus?
It's the Sound Studio Toronto.
Sound
Right.
Studio Toronto, okay.
So I would say that the focus is in the name, like to become the Sound Studio of Toronto.
Alright. So you want all the premier artists to record here and get engineered here and all of that?
Yeah, I want them to, but I want them to want to. So
Yeah,
like,
no,
trying
obviously.
to create that instead.
Yeah.
So you're building an environment here that's welcoming. You have the video game room in the green room you were showing me
Yeah.
earlier. You have your multimedia room over there and your studio where you engineer and record, right?
Right.
The wall right there with the boombox, it's fucking sick. I love that.
Appreciate that.
It's really dope touch. And yeah, man, I'm feeling the space. I'm feeling the space. I'm really feeling the space.
Yeah, man. Tell us the importance of even like ambiance, because like the way you made this is very unique, dog. So like, how did you even get this vision together, dog?
Like it's been a long time coming, right? So it's a process, you know. And I'll say one thing throughout all the studios that I built, they were always kind of like themed. So I
what's
have one
the theme for this one? Sorry to cut you off.
That's a good question. You know, I know the design, like the style theme. I don't really know if it has a theme the way that the other ones did. Like, I had one studio that was built like a jail range,
Oh.
right? And there was bars in the windows of the booth, and like to lock it, you would turn a wheel,
Okay.
and it would.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty legit,
Sick.
right? But it was for the time, right? And then later on, I had a mid-century style studio that I had like made it all 50s furniture, 50 TV, like
Oh, wow.
it was.
Okay.
So I had to put the boomboxes away for that, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And then when I realized that, like, hiding them didn't make sense, I brought them out in one of the builds, and everybody started shooting in front of them. So that's definitely a stamp for the studio, and it's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do multimedia as well, right? So.
We do a lot. We're multifaceted.
Okay. Dope.
Oh, you got green screens.
Yeah, there's everything.
Yeah, this room right here is dedicated like for sight, and then once you pass that side of the studio, that entire side is committed to sound. So
I just caught that out of the corner of my eye. The man was telling the ghost in the room about, like, oh look. I'm like, oh yeah, there is a green. Oh, that's pretty dope right there. So yeah, that's It's a nice little setup, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, we could put
It's not a
this-
little setup either. I'm not
Oh, I
saying
appreciate
little
that.
like when it's not a little setup. It's a nice setup. So let me just drop the word little. It's a nice setup. Like I shouldn't say little setup because actually it's a pretty big space. when
The
you
green
look at
screen's
it.
actually on remote. So
Yeah, I was.
we could drop like We Love Hip Hop right in Mexico, like right now. If we just
Ah.
want that shit to-
Man, I got a picture.
Explain
I
that
should
to me.
email you a picture of Jamaica right now.
Explain that to
man.
me.
Nice little backdrop.
Explain that to me.
Explain what?
This multimedia thing here. You said you can remote to Mexico or something?
No, I just said
So this is
that.
what he's saying. Basically, Friday he could drop down the green screen. It's remote control, right? And then you can, with a green screen.
And then we would key us under the
You know how green
chroma
screen
key,
works.
right?
Yeah.
Just video editing.
Okay.
But the fact that he can just like boom,
And we
boom,
do that
switch.
too.
You guys do video editing?
We do video. Yeah.
It's a one-stop shop.
I have some like remember that it's a hub, so that I have some amazing like photographers and videographers and such creatives of their own on my team.
Okay.
Kind of like assemble.
Wow, man. So you're doing way more than just engineering a session, dog. You're like
I wouldn't really call myself an engineer, like because I'm not committed solely to engineering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And some people
wow.
are. So.
Okay, so I'm gonna cause we can keep on going about all this all night, but I want to keep you just for one more moment, right? Both of y'all, right? And before, yeah, cause we're running late on time.
No, 2 seconds. Just take a break for a second.
Okay. I'm gonna hold y'all for a moment. We're gonna do something called smoke and mirrors.
Are we off the?
Hold on a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold you off for something called smoke and mirrors. All right.